Hi, this is a review on the Michelin Pilot Sport 3 tire. This particular tire is a 245/45/19 with a 102Y rating. I've had this tire now for in excess of 8 months, and I'll just tell you some of the findings that I've had since I've tried this tire on my car. The car in question is a 750i BMW. The first thing that I noticed is there's very little tread depth on the outer sides of the tread pattern, and this is how it was at the time of purchase as well, and that concerned me. But having had the tires and done in excess of 10,000 Ks, the tread wear on the edges is still the same. Looking in the center of the tire, I can still see there's two nipples here still from the there's normally nipples on the tire when it's brand new, so it's just showing that the tire hasn't worn that much in 8 months. I wouldn't say I'm a speed freak, but I do spirited driving, especially around corners. Would I recommend this tire? Absolutely. This tire is the best tire I've put on my car since having purchased it. But now, something to note, this tire comes in two varieties. You get the star rated one, which is for BMW, and you get the MO rated one. Now this particular one, as you can see, it says MO. Let me just turn this. It says MO. So what I did is I actually chose the MO for Mercedes, even though this is a BMW, and the reason for that is the ratings on the tire is quite different from the BMW to the Mercedes. For example, this is a 102Y, while the BMW equivalent is, I think, a 98. So the side walling must be stronger to deal with the heavier weight category here. The other issue is that almost all the BMWs now use run flat technology. So it's not like this would be a problem on a BMW having a stiffer sidewall. In terms of the performance, as soon as I have put this on my car, I noticed a performance improvement. What was on the car was the Pilot Primacy, and I still have them on the rear of my car. I will change this to the Pilot Sport 3. Not my favorite tire. It is wearing quite nicely. I wouldn't say that this is a fast wearing tire. It is actually its wear rate hasn't been bad at all. So in terms of the wear of the Primacy, I have no problem. It's just that the performance is a little bit on the touring side. Just looking at the tread wear, after 8 months of driving and more than 10,000 Ks, there's barely any tread wear on this tire, and I was concerned that it would wear quickly because it is a performance tire, and it hasn't. So this is my findings of the 245/45R 19-inch, and it's the 102Y. It is the Michelin Sport, and it's fitted on a BMW 750i, and this is the Pilot Sport 3 MO rating, and I will show some specifications next.
Okay, so coming to the specs of this Michelin Pilot Sport 3, my particular one is a 245/45/19 102Y XL, and with rim protection, and it's the MO. It's original equipment for Mercedes. Now, it's important to note that one shouldn't blanket all the Michelin Pilot Sport 3s with the same view, because the different sizes do give different performances. So if you go look at the Michelin Sport 3 on tyrereviews.co.uk, you can see they've given some very high ratings here. But if you look at the actual tires that people are rating. Now, this guy's got a 245 45 18W. This guy's a 245. Sorry, this guy's got a 225 40 18W. This guy's on a 245 40 18. And this is a 275. It's important to compare apples with apples, and also the weight of the car, and is it the front tires or is it both tires? So it's very hard to compare just from reading reviews. So that's the hardest part of choosing a tire, is after reading reviews you also got to check the right tire size and the right car. In terms of this tire, it scores very high, and it has in its tire test results second, third. So it's done well. Let's put it that way. Now, having a look at the EU label, it scores a C for fuel consumption, which was fine considering it's a sports tire, and A for the wet handling, and that's what I wanted to discuss. That's the strongest point on this tire for me, is once I put this on my car, I noticed the wet traction far superior than the other Michelin I've had on my car, and I could compare it only to the Pirelli. In the old days, it was a P6000, which for me had the best wet performance, and this tire reminds me of that P6000. A little bit on the noisy side, the P6000, but nevertheless in the wet. So this is a Y-rated tire sitting at 300 kilometers an hour. I do recommend this tire. As soon as I put it on my car, the steering was more specific. It's very accurate. It almost feels like when you're going around a corner, there is just enough traction. I'm yet to push the tire, the front tires, to a point where I felt a loss of confidence. While the tire I had on before, many times I would feel the steering starting to feel a little bit loose going around the corner. You know that point where you feel like it's going to let go. Alright, so this comes to the end of my review for the Michelin Pilot Sport 3. As I said, I put mine on a BMW, even though it's a Mercedes original equipment. I do understand how it's made for the suspension and so on, the weight ratio. However, on the 750, it doesn't take a run flat tire, and there are not many tires that are suitable for the 750. And BMW specify the Dunlop SP and one Bridgestone. There's a Continental Sport Contact. I think it's a Sport Contact 3. And all of those tires are not as good as this Michelin. So that is why I didn't have a problem putting on an MO. I actually did it out of interest to see how it would respond, and I'm glad I did it. There is also the P0, which is recommended for this car. I have no problem with Pirelli. It's just in my country, it's a very expensive tire compared to the Michelin. Also, the EU rating for fuel consumption wasn't very good. The other option is the Dunlop Sport Max. I'm not a fan of Dunlop. The Goodyear is not available in my country. That's also why I did not choose the Goodyear. And the only other option I had was actually the Bridgestone or the Continental. And the Continental, my reason for not choosing the Continental Sport Contact 5, sorry, not 3, 5, was that the wear rating of this tire on the reviews that I've read, and having spoken to fitment centers in my country, they actually advised me not to put the Sport Contact 5 because it wears too quickly, although the road holding is exceptional. Now, I didn't want to change my tires after 1 year, and I'm quite happy that these Michelin will probably easily give me 2 years of life on a performance tire. And the last option that I had when I was making this decision was the the Bridgestone, and let's wait for it, the Bridgestone S001. And I have no problem with Bridgestone. I just got a bit concerned with the fuel rating. I know that these things are not, this rating is, one shouldn't change your life around this. I could have gone for, that was my second choice, was the S001. also very good in the wet. And then another tire I was also looking at if I wanted to go in an economy run was the Falcon. And there are some mixed reviews on it, mostly okay, but not in the region of a performance tire.